My name is Maddie Brown, and I have been a CPA for very nearly 40 years. And over the course of those 40 years, I have worked with literally thousands of small businesses on how to manage their accounting records, how to manage their cash flow, how to um, be more profitable and be more successful in their businesses. And I I don't love accounting because I love numbers. I love accounting because I love people being in business and being successful. And I have developed a real passion for the personal development world. And one of my biggest people that I love to follow is Jack Canfield, and I'm certified in his training, and it is a tremendous asset to me when I work with clients and help clients. And so I bring to the table, number one, grounding and no judgment, no comparison, no wrongdoing, but whatever you are, wherever you are, I meet you where you are so that you can be more successful in your business. And that is my role in the world right now. I love working with personal development coaches. I love working with people that are in the service industries. And our team really does a great job of doing that. I like to talk about how I got here for just a minute, because I bought this business 10 years ago, 9 years ago, and I left a government job that I hated and was miserable and was unhappy. And I thought for a very long time, I was at that government job 20 years, and I thought for a very long time that I had no choice. And through coaching, I learned that you always have choices. We talk about a formula called E plus R equals O. You have events in your life, and you have responses to those events, and you have outcomes. So the event you can't change, but the response you always have control over, and you can change to be a more productive and positive response. And that is going to dictate what your outcome is in any given situation. So we want to make sure that we're making really conscious choices about everything. And I didn't think after 20 years with the government that I had a choice. And when I realized that I did have a choice, and I made that choice, I didn't do it overnight. I did it over a long period of time, getting used to what needed to be done, taking small steps, and many days it felt like I was taking steps backwards instead of forwards. And what is true is that over the course of the next year, I could not have predicted how things were going to go. I could not have said that this step was going to lead to where I wanted to be. But I took each small step at a given point in time and moved forward through, and find myself now at a place where I can truly say that I love what I do and it makes a difference in people's lives. And so that is my mission and my role. And I want to see small business owners do better. There's some alarming statistics about small business. There are 12 million women-owned businesses in this country, and 88% of those businesses are generating less than $100,000 gross revenue. That is not a good situation. We all need to be doing better, and we need to make good decisions. And I talk about simple set of decisions that you can make to make yourself more profitable and make yourself more paying yourself in your business so that you get money and you get the rewards that you need to have. Now, I want you to let me know, do you see a small person walking on a bunch of coins that says 5 simple steps to make and keep more money in your business? If you would please put a thumbs up in the window so that I can tell if you can see that. Just double checking. Thank you. So I talk about money differently than most CPAs. And I believe that your business needs to reward you personally, professionally, and it needs to provide a service to people that is of value. And if you can make those 3 things happen in your business, you're going to really appreciate and enjoy your business, and you're going to have a good time. Now, a lot of my clients are overwhelmed. They're confused. They're frustrated. They feel like they've been yelled at by their accountant. They know money is coming in, but they don't see it in the bank. They don't know where it went. I don't know how many people that say, if I made $50,000 last year, where did it go? Why don't I have it? I don't have it in my bank. And they don't know where the money went. And they don't understand why they owe taxes. And all of those things are totally curable. You don't have to be in the dark like a mushroom, okay? The more you understand your numbers and work with your numbers, the more empowering it is to help you make decisions about how to do business and where things are going. Most small business owners have a passion for their business. They love what they do. They care about the people that they work with, and they really want to make a difference in the world. But they don't know how to track, and they don't know how to keep records, and they don't know how to evaluate those records when the time comes to do that. And too many people come to me on March 1st and say, I need my taxes done for 2019. And the problem is you need that information throughout the year so that you can manage your money and not be surprised by your tax liability, and make sure that you are fueling your life and your business. Your business needs to support itself, and it needs to support your family, and it needs to support your dreams, where you want to go in the world, what you want to have happen. And if it doesn't do any of those 3 things, if all it's doing is supporting itself but you're not paying yourself, if all it's doing is paying your bills and not allowing you to grow and develop, then that's not enough. And you need to make the choices and the decisions that will take you to where you are more profitable. Most people get into business because they want financial freedom. That is the common denominator. They think they're going to be in business for themselves, and they're going to get to make all the decisions that they want to make, and they're going to get to do what they want to do when they want to do it. And I always say that self-employment is America's greatest myth, because the reality is you're going to have to deal with clients, you're going to have to deal with marketing, and it's going to take a lot of planning and effort to create the financial freedom that you really want to have. And if you're not up for that planning and you're not up for that work, then most people are better off in a job working for someone else. And I look at so many entrepreneurs that are in business for themselves and they're struggling, they're frustrated, they're spending their retirement accounts, and they are going into substantial credit card debt. And none of that leads to the financial freedom that you went in business to get. And so you've got to really make some choices. I believe your money tells a story, and you control that story by the thoughts and the things that you do. You could always change it by making different decisions. And you don't need to know the how. You don't need to know the steps all the way to the top of the mountain. You just need to know the steps that are the next steps in moving forward. You are protected and taken care of, and your money is simply a mirror reflecting back to you the choices that you're making and the values that you have in hand. So they call them books, and I call them books, and they tell a story. I read them like a storybook about your life and what's important to you, and what you really need is to manage those decisions. When I left government and I bought my business in 2010, I had very little idea of how I was going to do what I wanted to do. But I knew that I wanted to have a set of clients that were making a difference in the world. I knew that I needed to make at least enough to cover the salary that I left when I was at my government job. I knew that I wanted to be successful and be in business for myself. Now, I didn't necessarily know who was going to pick up the phone and call me on day 10 or day 20 or day 30. I didn't know what clients were going to come and what clients were going to go.
Like outside?
I didn't know the details of what was going to happen, but I had a very clear picture of what I wanted to happen. Some people call that a vision board, and some people go through catalogs and magazines and make pictures of houses and make pictures of vacation spots and make pictures of what they want, and they hold that image. Visualization is a common tool used to achieve goals and to learn what you want to do, to focus on so that you meet the goals that you want to have. Now, I didn't have a clear picture in my head, but I had a clear feeling of how I knew I was going to feel when I was in alignment and doing what I needed to do. And that feeling is also critical. So if you can imagine how it's going to feel, if you can imagine what it's going to look like, if you can imagine who you're going to be when you step up to that level of income. So you make a vision, you make a dream of what you want your life to look like and what you want your business to look like. And it's personal and it's business, and the two are completely intertwined. You have to do both. You can't do one or the other. You have to do both, because if your business doesn't support you, then your life is not going to work. Now, I look at this vision board a little bit differently, because I want you to make a vision in finances. So if you want to get a weekly massage, and a weekly massage costs $100 a week, that means you need $400 a month for your weekly massage. And so I look at your life in its entirety, your recreation, your free time, your financial, your career, your health. I look at all of those categories and define goals in each one of them. Now, they need to be goals that you can measure. They need to be specific. They need to be measurable. I want to lose 10 pounds by December 31st, 2019. They need to be measurable. They need to be specific. And in order to lose those 10 pounds, I'm going to sign up for a program that is going to help me do that, and that program is going to cost $500. And so you outline not only what the goals are, but what the financial cost of those goals are. And I'm of the opinion that everything has a financial component, okay? Just simply being alive in this country requires money. Money isn't the most important thing, but it is touching everything we do. We have to have money to eat. We have to have money to have a roof over our heads. We have to have money to have the internet. There's amazing how many homeless people have cell phones. You've got to have money in order to accomplish those things. And so what I want, first of all, is to look at your goals, look at your dreams, visualize what your life is going to look like, and make a picture in dollars and cents. The second step is to take responsibility for your choices and realize that you have the choice to make your life what you want them to be. They are your responsibility. If you decide to go to Starbucks every day and buy a $5 coffee, you're going to spend $150 a month on coffee. Now, if that works for you, that's all well and good. And personally, I'm not a coffee drinker, so I don't necessarily want or need to drink coffee, but I have my own vices, okay? And so you have to realize that buying that coffee is a choice. Actually, going to work every day is a choice. You don't have to do that. There are consequences of every choice we make. There is an impact on our life. And when we make those choices, they change our life. And so you can make new choices. You can make new choices. You have to have a clear understanding of what has happened so far, what the history is. And in your business, that means you need numbers. Numbers are the language of money. Business is defined in its success and its failure in terms of money. Now, your goals and each individual's goals are going to vary. Some people are working to make $100,000. Some people are working to make $1 million. And the reality is the difference between the two is zeros on the end of the number, okay? Because people usually have the same problems when they're looking at millions as they do when they're looking at hundreds of thousands, and you've got to clear up your personal relationship with money before you can really keep the money that you want to keep in your business. You've got to understand what your money is telling you. You've got to understand what your household costs are. You have to understand what it costs to run your business. If you have a clear understanding, then you can make decisions from that standpoint. But if you don't have a clear understanding, you can't make those decisions. And it's not enough to just make the decisions. It's not enough to just say that I want to make $100,000. You have to take action. You have to move forward. And when you move forward, you don't have to know the entire path. When you're driving a car at night, you can see as far as the headlights will take you. You can't see to the destination of where you're going. You can only see as far as the headlights will take you. And that's true in life, that's true in business, that's true in every aspect. You don't have to know the how. The how is not your role. Your role is to take the next step, to take the next action. And maybe that means picking up the phone and calling a potential client. And the action part of this is the scary part for most people. And a lot of people want to get stuck in things like designing their web page and creating their logo and writing the perfect copy for their web page. And all of those things are important, but they don't generate revenue today. And so every day you need to take action on 4 or 5 simple steps that lead you in the direction of where you want to go. They don't have to be gigantic steps, but you need to take those steps each and every day. And you need to maintain awareness of what your results are so that you can actually measure whether you are meeting your goals or you aren't meeting your goals. And if your goals aren't measurable, that you want to add 100 followers to your Instagram account, okay? If you don't keep track of how many you have, you can't possibly measure the reality of what you have made and what you have accomplished. So you need to make decisions that take you closer to your goals. And I like to talk about decisions from several standpoints. The first standpoint is it something that you want to do, be, or have? Now, this is a question that you have to get really honest with yourself, because sometimes we say we want to do something. I want to lose weight, but it isn't something that we're willing to commit to and say we are going to make the actions that will take us closer to that goal. And is it in alignment with our values? So I believe that nothing happens by accident, and there are no mistakes. You're simply on course or off course. But if you make your decisions consistently in the direction of your dreams, you're going to have far greater success moving that direction than if you don't make conscious decisions. And gratitude is the most important step, because you have a wonderful opportunity. The fact that you are on this call today means you have internet. It means you have a phone. It means you have a chair to sit in. It means you have a roof over your head. And you have hundreds of things that are provided for you that you enjoy and love. And when you appreciate all of those things, you go a whole lot further at the world, in the world, okay? And so it is it's important to be grateful for everything you've had. Now, no talk from an accountant would be complete without mention of the IRS. The IRS requires that you file tax returns. It's a law. If you don't file tax returns, it's actually a felony, okay? So yes, you need to file tax returns. And yes, you need to pay taxes. But what you need to know is that that's not the reason you have accounting records. The reason you need accounting records is so that you can measure the success or lack of success in your business. Secondarily, you're going to use those records to file returns with the IRS. And the number one reason that people don't make what the number one reason that people pay too much tax is that they don't have good records. I have a client that came to me to have me do their tax return the first part of October, which is the final deadline for filing individual income tax returns. And they said to me, well, we don't have all of our expenses, but these are the big ones. Well, that's all well and good, but all those little ones add up. And the reality is that for every $1,000 in deductions that you have, you're going to generate tax savings of somewhere in the neighborhood plus or minus of $300. Now, you want to not pay any more tax than you absolutely have to. And it breaks my heart to see people pay tax because they don't have the records that they need to have. And so you've got to have good records, and you need those records for tax purposes, and you need those records for business purposes. And the business purposes, in my opinion, are actually greater than the tax purposes. Now, a lot of people get to the end of the year, and I like to work with people in November and December and make sure that they're prepared for their tax liability. In order to do that, you've got to have records. In order to have records, you've got to have a system to bring all of that into place. Any questions? If you unmute yourself, does anybody have questions at this point?
Hi, Maddie. This is Christina. I have a question.
Hi, Christina.
So I also have seen Jack, so I appreciate that. And I know you through Patty Aubrey. That's how I found out about you. Permission granted. Anyway,
Okay.
the point is, would you be able to discuss like how to start up a business? Like I have a full-time job and am looking to start a business. And how do you right now I'm not making money. I'm more like spending money on professional development and getting, kind of the coaching, right? To train the trainer online and things like that. So how would one set themselves up for a business? Does that make sense?
Okay.
So I don't know if that's relevant to this or anyone else, but I do have. Okay. Thank you.
You are absolutely on point. What you need to do before I'm assuming that you want to be in business and you want to leave your job at some point in time. Is that a fair assumption?
That's a fair assumption, although I guess this is being recorded, but maybe this is more for offline. But yeah, no, I mean, I have a mortgage, and so I have a full-time job, and so yeah.
Right.
So.
Lots of people are looking forward to the point when they can be free of a desk job, okay? And in order to do that, you really need an outstanding plan of how your business is going to look and how it's going to operate. If you're a restaurant, you buy chairs and you buy tables and you buy plates and you hire employees and you train those employees and you put together a financial forecast and you figure out how many meals you need to sell in order to meet the business's needs and how many meals you need to sell in order to meet your personal needs. And so if you need to make $100,000 a year in your business, what that really means is that you need to have $20,000 to pay your taxes. You need to have $50,000 to live your life. You need to have $50,000 to run your business. You need to put some money and make sure you're paying yourself. So in order to make $100,000 on the bottom line, you have to make probably $200,000 in your business. And then the next question is, how many clients do you have to serve in order to meet that $200,000 goal? And those are all things that you work through and plan. And if it seems impossible, then that is valuable information to you, okay? Because you won't invest your retirement, your savings, if you see that there is not a reasonable chance that you're going to be successful in business. And so the first thing that I like people to do is, number one, sit down and figure out how much money you need to make in your business. Sit down and, number two, look at how much money your personal life costs you. What is your day-to-day? How do you want to live? What does that number look like? And then figure for your taxes and come up with a target revenue number, which has to pay for all of those things. And if that number is $100,000, that means you need to generate $83,033 every month. If you are working with clients at $500 a month, that means you need 16 clients. Where are you going to get 16 clients? And then we move into marketing and planning, okay? And marketing is not my thing. I didn't sign up to be a marketer, although that is absolutely necessary. But where I help people is to get to that number, whatever that number is, okay? And it is the first place that you need to go, because you don't want to quit your job until you've got a reasonable plan of how you're going to recreate that income and pay for the life you want to live. And I see too many people that are making $25,000 a year in their business, and they would be 100 times better off working for someone else. And that is sad to me, okay? Because they're not living their dream. And what they need to do is to get the support that they need in order to make that business work and stay on top of it. So that's where I start. And I think you need to do that before you invest a dime of your own money, let alone borrowing money on a credit card in order to pay for it, okay? And so that planning piece, if it's too much difficult and frustrating to plan, then it is really going to be tough for you to be in business for yourself. Did I answer your question? That was kind of long-winded.
Thank you, Maddie. You actually didn't answer my specific question, but this was really enlightening. I was kind of coming more from the, thank you. This whole thing has been great, because you're giving me the umbrella view and I'm getting stuck in the muck down below, right? So you're giving me the umbrella view, which is great. So it's more about tracking, for me specifically, it's more about tracking my expenses that are related to this future business that I'm hoping to launch, and using and having some kind of tax deduction for that, because it's all pertinent to my own
And
business that I'm hoping to launch. Does that make sense?
and yeah, that makes sense. And you definitely need to capture the expenses that are related to your business. Um, we pretty much are a QuickBooks shop, and QuickBooks has a version called Self-Employed, which is like $5 or $10 a month. The IRS considers that if you're doing anything with the intent to make a profit, that you are in business. Okay? In order for something to be deductible, the primary purpose of the expenditure needs to be business. And if the primary purpose of the expenditure is business, you need to capture it, and you need to have a set of books as of December 31st, 2019, which shows everything that you have spent or earned. Okay? And it's simple. QuickBooks is a simple solution. There are also apps, and honestly, a spreadsheet is an adequate way to capture that information. Okay? It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but it does need to be something that you can live with on a day-to-day basis so that you don't miss anything. The other thing that you want to be sure you're tracking is your automobile mileage and your business miles that you drive. Those are all deductible expenses, and you want to capture that. Okay? It is, as far as there are a couple of different kinds of entities you can create, but reality is before you start in business, you can be a sole proprietorship, and that's the simplest, it's the easiest. If you have a limited liability company, that's fine. I don't advise moving into an S-Corp on a first beginning business. There are times that it's appropriate, and there are times that it's not, and that's a fact-by-fact situation. So there's all kinds of considerations that you need to take into effect. The record keeping starts from day zero. And if you have it captured all in QuickBooks, you can do some interesting comparisons as the years go by to see what has happened and what has grown and what is left.
So
Anything else?
yeah, last question for me, because I think I'm this is wonderful. So do you actually have to have income in this business?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
You have to be able to defend a couple of things. You have to be able to say that you are conducting the activity with the intent to make a profit. And if your intent is to make a profit, then what is deductible is what is primary purpose business. So if the primary purpose is business and you are engaging in the activity with the intent to make a profit, then the losses are deductible. But those are the two things that you have to be prepared to argue and point out.
Thank you. Thank you very much. By the way,
Okay.
I've scheduled a call with you for next week, so I'll be talking to you.
Awesome. Awesome. One of the things that I have found is that people have a lot of stress and worry and frustration about money. And I feel like there is a gap between the CPAs and the small businesses that they should be working with. And so I designed a program that I call the Peace of Mind Money Program. And the Peace of Mind Money Program helps you get your finances so they're not scary. so that you can plan where you're going to spend your money and how you're going to spend your money, and prepare yourself for taxes, and always know how much money you need to make, and set some really clear financial intentions. And I have a process that I go through every year, and I do it in November and December, and a plan for 2020. And when we go through that process with clients, we help them to know what tax structure is best for them, to be confident about their decision making and what they can afford to do. And they have their goals with their personal life and their business, and you can measure your progress towards those goals. And my struggle was how to support people in the best way possible, at a way that was affordable for the small businesses that my heart breaks for. So I started a program, and it starts off with a complete assessment and a review of your records with me, customized recommendations for your business, a vision for 2020, and projections of where you're going to be in 2020 and what you want to have happen, have a system for keeping records and managing your money, and having a system for making financial and life decisions. It is a 60-day intensive with a year of email support. There's a comprehensive assessment and evaluation and recommendations. We do some goal setting. We do a strategy session, and you have unlimited email access for a year. Now, this is a beginning effort here, and I am limiting this to 25 businesses that I'm going to work with in the next couple of months, so that they can get on track. And so this offer runs through December 20th, and the payment option, it is $997 for the year, or 4 payments of $297. Now, it is something funky is happening. And we will send out a link. I'm going to copy the link into the chat. If I can figure out how to do that. We will send out a link, and you will get the, sorry. Okay. The link is posted to the chat, and if you are interested, I would love to do this pilot program with you. I can tell you that after we go through this the first time, there will be changes and there will be modifications. There's a monthly Q&A call where you can come to a Zoom meeting and ask any questions that you have any questions on. And it is a trial, because I want to see if we can effectively serve and help people that are trying to grow their business and learn to manage their money more effectively. Do you have any questions? Sonata? Can't hear you. Can you hear me? Okay. Sarah, how about you? Helen, are you multitasking?
Yes, I am multitasking.
I know. Do you have any questions?
I don't, Maddie. You rock.
Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it. We need to get on the phone.
We need to get on the phone. Yes, we do.
I would love to know how things are going with you.
We need to catch up. That's what we need to do. In fact, I was just telling my husband about you that we need to chat
Okay.
before
Awesome.
texting.
So I would love to do that. That would be awesome. Cool. And Christina, you and I have an appointment. We're going to talk. And
I do have a
Sonata,
question. Oh, can I just, when is this
go
going to,
ahead.
sorry, when will this program start?
It starts when you sign up.
Oh, okay. So it's a year.
It's not the year that if you sign up today, then it runs until November 26th of 2020.
Okay, because I guess I can ask you relevant questions, I guess, next week about this.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It's not going to fill up, is it? I don't know. It may.
Well, I don't know. I know that I'm promoting it, and you know, I would love to say that it was filled and overflowing, but I don't know that to happen.
All right. So maybe I'll send you an email with other questions as well.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Helen, are you there? Or are you multitasking? Okay. Well, I appreciate you coming and staying. And if you have any questions, send me an email, Maddie@smashingnumbers.com. If you want to make an appointment, you can go to smashingnumbers.com, and there is a free consultation page, and you can sign up there, and we can have a conversation. And again, that's smashingnumbers.com, and there's a free consultation page, and you can find a time that works for you to come and talk. I'm thrilled to be able to help you, and it's a pleasure to be of service. Thank you for coming and spending your time with us today, and thank you for putting up with my technical difficulties. Bye.